Hey guys, welcome back again to my channel. Yeah, so I'm just looking at my phone and like, how cute am I? How cute is this? How cute is this? Thank you, thank you. It's a cloudy day, but I'm still shining. Everybody seems done, but I'm still vibing. Okay guys, so welcome back to my channel, and this is your girl Tessa. Thank you so much to everybody who's been watching my vlogs, and especially this series where I'm just doing a lot of talking. I'm not showing any destination, I'm just talking away. I was gonna talk about, what is this video about again? Okay, let me look at my little book. This video is going to be about the job in Dubai, the training, and the accommodation. Basically everything about the job. Okay, so if you watched my previous vlog, you would know that at this point we're at the hotel, and the company has given us a hotel for 2 weeks, and we get to stay in there, and while we go for training. So just to point out a couple of things, the company gave a 2-year contract. First of all, Dubai has rules and regulations, especially in terms of employment. The company gives you a contract. You have to know the terms of your contract. You have to. Because most companies will say that if you have to leave the company 6 months into your contract, like before you even finish probation, you're going to have to pay the company a certain amount of money. Because, especially in my case, they have invested in you. They have gotten a visa for you. They have gotten a ticket for you. So they will need some sort of return. You have to work for them, because this is what you initially applied for. You can't just come here and say after a month, oh yeah, I found a way better job, so I'm leaving you by. To me, that's unfair, because they brought you here and you do owe them to some extent. Okay, so that's one. You're on a 2-year contract. And please, 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 there are people that came for me when I had just started, and they were asking me about moving to Dubai, and I remember I told them that there's a 2-year contract, and literally this one person was screaming, modern day slavery, modern day slavery. I'm like, girl, you're gonna be home for those 2 years jobless just because you don't want to take a contract for 2 years. I mean, seriously. But anyway, so there was a 2-year contract, and then we went for the training, and then they started enlightening us more about what we had to do. It's basically sales. We were selling shoes. I was working for a shoe brand, as most people know. We were basically selling shoes, and they train you how to do it, how you always have to bring a shoe horn and some trying socks, for the customer, So, okay, training went by just fine. And now they had to allocate the stores for us. That's when I realized something that I didn't know before, something that I didn't understand before. They said there were 7 of us. I think 3 of us were going to be working in Dubai, 2 working in Sharjah, and 2 working in Abu Dhabi. That's when I realized that I had said yes to something that I didn't understand before. I didn't understand what they meant when they said you have to be willing to work in any of the 7 Emirates. Okay, growing up, not that I was bad in geography, but I honestly didn't know that Dubai was not a country. Yes, I used to think that United Arab Emirates is equal to Dubai, Okay, just stay with me, guys. I didn't understand. Okay, and I thought Abu Dhabi was in Dubai. Like, Abu Dhabi was the capital of Dubai. So I thought all the other Emirates were inside Dubai. But as we went through this training, I started to get an enlightenment that UAE itself is made up of 7 emirates. And Dubai is one of them. It's the most popular, but it's not even the capital. The capital is Abu Dhabi. Even though I had my aunt had been working in Abu Dhabi for 3 years, and I promise you, everybody at home used to say she works in Dubai because we all just didn't know. We all didn't know that. Okay, so that's besides the point. Yeah, most of the people that you'll find that might say they'll say they're working in UAE as opposed to saying they're working in Dubai, which is true. But the Emirates are not too far from each other. Like Dubai, Sharjah is just like literally sometimes you don't even see that you've crossed into Sharjah unless like there's not like a border inspection or anything like that. It's just like traveling between cities in any country. So okay, that's it. Accommodation now. We only had 2 weeks in the hotel, and where was it going to stay afterwards? That was the biggest question. So I did meet one girl who was working in my store, and she was more senior than me. Like she had come to Dubai, I think a couple of months before me. She was from a different country. I met her and she told me, you know what? You need a place to stay, right? I'm also thinking of moving away from the place where I stay currently so we can move in together. I was like, hey, at least I have a roommate and we're gonna get a 1-bedroom apartment. It's gonna be so bomb and we're gonna decorate it like, oh my gosh, you know, so excited. Yes. So now I've been picked up at the hotel. She takes me to this one building. This building was very nice outside. It was very nice outside. You get inside, the reception is still very nice. We got to the floor where we were going, everything is still nice. Up until you open the door to the apartment, I was in shock. Guys, I was in shock. Okay, I'd heard before that, you know, Dubai is very expensive, accommodation is very expensive, but I didn't expect what I saw at that time. It was, what can I say? There were a lot of people, lot of people, all staying in one apartment. Yes, so like, if an apartment has 3 rooms, they're like maybe 6 people in each room. Boy, the first night was tough. The first night was tough. I was on a bunk bed. I'd never been on a bunk bed in my life. Luckily, this girl, she was so sweet. She let me take the bottom bunk because I'd never been on a bunk bed, so I was scared to even take the top bunk. So she let me take the bottom bunk, and actually the room we were staying in, it was more of a section of a room. It was, I don't know, like when you partition a room into like little smaller rooms. Yeah, so ours was like teeny tiny. It could literally only fit a bunk bed, and we didn't even have a cupboard. Our clothes were in the suitcase that was under our bed. Reality hit so hard. Honestly, okay, I didn't expect to be staying in Burj Khalifa or anything like that, but I kind of expected to be staying in something similar to the hotel apartment that we had been put in by the company. So it was all a huge shock to me. I hardly slept that night. It was also hard for me. It was really hard, and I remember I cried and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, at my mother's house I have a double. Honestly, at this point in time, I was thinking, oh, I was so much better off at home, at my mother's apartment, in my own bed and everything. I just wanted to go back to Zimbabwe at this point in time. But I thought to myself, I came here because I wanted to start out on my own. I didn't want to be, I mean, I was already 22 and I felt too old for my parents to be taking care of me. So I wanted to just start doing something on my own, something with my life. And of course, you don't always start out like at the top. You have to work to get there. So I stayed there, and I stayed in this kind of situation for quite a while because that's what you can afford based on your salary. Speaking of salary, so they did tell us before in advance the salary, and it was almost like approximately $1,000 with your accommodation, transport, and basic. That's just the inclusive of everything. But you also had an opportunity to get extra by getting a commission, and this commission was based on like the target that they will set for the store and how much your store surpassed this target. Before I moved, I might have thought, oh my gosh, $1,000 a month is a lot of money compared to what the people who work in sales in my country get. But to hear, it didn't mean that much because the cost of living, guys, the cost of living is pretty high. So your accommodation is going to be taking like maybe, if you're going to stay in these shared apartments, in a shared room, maybe you another 3 people, or you another 5 people, you another 7 people. There are so many different types of rooms. And depending on how much you're willing to pay, depending on your area, you might be spending almost a third of your salary just on accommodation. And the general work culture. For me, I feel like I was really blessed because my manager, I had one particular manager, no, actually I had 2 managers, but the one particular manager, he was awesome, the most amazing person I've ever met, and he knows this. I tell him every chance that I get. I even still go see him now because he was that much amazing. So this guy, he taught me everything that I needed to know in the store. He taught me how to open the store, how to close the store, how things operate basically. The other manager, on the other hand, he was a different kind of person. I guess he was there to push us to make sure that we made sales. And it really did work. We were achieving targets like, oh my gosh. And there I was looking at my salary. I was like, oh, it's the bomb, it's the bomb. When you have to go to work, you're not only working, like you can't only work with Africans. I remember when I came to the store, I wasn't the only African. There was one Kenyan guy also. I think there was 2 of us. And you have to work with people from different nationalities. Now, that's a tricky part because you have to understand that some things that you say and are okay back home might not be okay for somebody else. Like when you say it to them, when you put the word into them, it might not be okay for them. So you have to make sure that you're super sensitive to other people, you're super sensitive to their culture, to their religion, and do not start arguments. Don't try to steal other people's customers, which happened a lot in my store. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. But anyway, just remember why you're there. You're there to work for your family back home. You're there to work to establish yourself, so you don't want to have to do anything to jeopardize your job. Always remember to do the best that you can. If you can do extra to get more, do it. Do extra, get more money, get as much as you can. So I guess that's the lesson that I'm leaving you guys with now, and I'll be sharing more with you guys as time goes on. But at the same time, you guys have to let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you want to see. So whatever you guys want to see, anything extra, you guys let me know. Unfortunately, I cannot give you an apartment tour, guys. I stay in a studio apartment, and it's so small. The tour would begin where it ends. So if you guys still want to see it, I'm still open to showing you where I stay. And that's about it. Love you guys, and subscribe and like.